有人叫科纳风暴，它是今天特价的一款游戏，然后那时候我看到它游戏类型跟漫漫长夜非常像，漫漫长夜之前我玩过，我觉得还不错。就你他妈的，你拼啊！哦，谢。没错，就是那款游戏，它好像算是悬疑类的游戏吧。记得那时候有介绍，稍微看了一下，基本上玩法应该跟漫漫长夜差不多。然后我弄这个游戏的汉化弄得真他妈久，弄到我都快发疯了。结果一直搞不定那个汉化，因为只要一安装汉化，它就会卡住。然后后来我已经放弃的时候，我没想到就在里面就直接有汉化。What the fuck?
Carl sought information for a living. That is to say that ever since he returned from Korea, after having served with the armed forces, he had been working as a private investigator in Montreal. William Hamilton, a rich industrialist, had gotten in touch with him regarding a simple vandalism issue. Nothing to write home about. Not worth hiring a private eye either, just so he can drive for hours on rough roads. But that's how it had always been. The client pays, Carl gets it done.
出去。手。OK。瞧一下位置。我要出去。出去。
Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question. Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand.
But I won't.
Carl's military training had made him a very punctual man. Being late to his meeting with Hamilton was out of the question. Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand. They had set up to meet at the general store, his client's business. Well, actually, the entire village had William Hamilton's name written all over it. Wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. Carl was dying to stretch his legs. But he had to stay focused on the task at hand. Now wasn't a good time to wander about. Hamilton was still out there. When the roads were bad, muddy, or snowed in, it was customary around these parts to close them off. but it was also customary to ignore those signs entirely and drive there anyway.
Yep, it's me. 哦，不错。我之前玩过那个，你知道吗？防火人还是什么的，忘记，应该是蛮类似的。Hello。
Hamilton never mentioned a road-blocking barrier. Why was it needed here in the back of Beyond? That would, however, be a mystery for another day. Carl had waited long enough for someone to come and raise it. Still not a soul in sight. There was no point in waiting any longer. Carl had to figure this one out by himself.
需要调整一下我的滑鼠灵敏度，非常的不溜，有点受不了。相机灵敏度 OK， 所以怎么讲？我的发我是不是没调到？有 OK， 40如何？先用40好，40看起来还可以。 Open， 不错嘛。这是什么？阅读传单。马是好消息。OK， 取之不尽的资源。blah blah blah， 天然资源。OK， 立即加入，马上投资。我投资呢。OK。 很快就进入。再来一次。这什么？好 ，OK。这地图不拿。喂。
Hamilton no doubt knew who managed the barrier. Carl wanted to give him a call, but that would have been too easy though, as sure enough, the line was acting up.
长个屁啊！他 OK。卡尔很喜欢翻垃圾桶，知道吧？卡尔最喜欢捡空瓶了，天啊！他爱死空瓶。 卡尔也很喜欢一些死人头雕像，没错。OK， 卡尔也有喜欢记录的好习惯。OK， 我看看卡尔的。
Carl, ever diligent in his work, always carried his log on him, in which he scribbled down thoughts and leads alike during the course of his investigations.
卡尔感觉没有朋友。 天哪！这是什么？等下翻太快，不好意思。蓄意破坏。OK， 这是我们今天的 OK， 这是什么？蓄意破坏。OK， 银行儿子，死一堆人。OK。 攻击财产，要把它当朋友 ，OK。这是我好了 ，OK。啊，这就是我。Hello。我是一名私家侦探，我好着分工作，会在海里服役，然后并对付毒日。通常情况下。 都是跟踪出轨的丈夫，不错嘛。我先离开一下，因为我现在在 实况游戏。
好。
这个是谁？4、5岁，我就是那个企业家。照片 ，OK， 所以这是5D。interesting。哇，很棒哎，这玩法不错。加油站、厕所 ，OK， 装备买 gear 手电筒，这就哇 ，OK， 我手电是收好，不好意思，这是原来卡尔原本就是地图，等下，放大点，现在卡尔人在哪？
The Polaroid, Carl's long-standing and faithful ally, had seen its share of husbands caught red-handed cheating. There's always something out there waiting to be snapped away.
他的抓奸神器，有没有限制张数？应该是没有吧？手电筒，然后第一个就是笔记本。没错。消耗品，香烟呢
Carl, like many of his contemporaries, felt like he had more trouble breathing when he wasn't smoking. Cigarette was his own personal breathing assistant.
不要乱丢啊，干你啊！背包、烘焙、火柴，哦，有限制耶，还有重量，我靠，这些，我感觉这游戏会有点难度哦。我还是赶快趁我的呼吸器还够用，推点进度。这是，知道，随便。大哥，我靠，刚才发生什么事？哇，应有尽有，是什么？定位器，是什么？工具箱 ，OK。我卡可以跑步。游戏，有一个看板，去看一下。妈的，不在熄火，妈浪费油。
Carl was meeting his client in a store near this area. He was on the right track.
OK。卡尔最会。
Hamilton is waiting for Carl in the general store. It was time for him to get down to business.
卡尔最喜欢走被封起来的路。这是什么？存放。OK。搞一些，我现在重量应该还要贵啊，先不用存放。这游戏自由度不错。我刚才很紧张，因为怎么样？
William Hamilton enjoyed a lavish country house built in the very heart of the northern forests, not too far from here. The local populace was divided when it came to the affluent man. Some saw a wealthy philanthropist dedicated to improving the region's economy. Others an aging Englishman who would do anything to further his fortunes. And those ones hated him enough to go on about scheming against him. Hamilton had recently acquired a few local businesses, but the last straw was the reopening of a mine, which gave rise to a wave of protests and threats from the Cree people. Given these circumstances, Carl reckoned that a good number of people must be feeling compelled to oppose Hamilton in one way or another. So far, only the industrialist's house had been a target, but soon enough, Carl thought, the target would become the man himself.
不是我要抱怨，但是他一直在讲，一开始就是在讲事情，所以我觉得就有点多余，不好意思啊。三宝啊，干你啊！几个小时后
Carl needed to get out of there. The cold and the pain required urgent care.
我靠！假如我不知道，这时候应该要出来吗？其实我不确定。我没有在学 KONA， 哎，开始了，什么？放字，我现在没有这种东西啊。好，可以，等下，身体状况很糟，还需要治疗及取脑。
Scratches did not stop Carl. His mother would be so proud.
但他需要很多东西，按序对，好，时间紧迫。
The driver had taken off. It was still best to check it out and leave nothing to chance. Carl needed help. It was a small, locked box engraved with the letters WH. Carl thought about taking it. Nothing was to be left to chance.
伊莎贝尔，这个晚上时候用得到。
It was so cold. Already Carl did not feel his toes anymore.
等一下，这边医疗包了，不要说了。不整，很好 ，OK。卡尔聪明 ，OK。哎，我操你妈的！卡尔开始要变智障了。喂。
This deep in the country, his last hope was to find an abandoned garage or a farm by the roadside. His life depended on it.
不用怕，他运气一向都很好，有没有？卡尔最会闯空门。OK， 并保存游戏 OK， 关门，快关门！卡尔关门啊！卡尔。 我要怎么点火？而且为什么这个火一开始就打开的？跟卡尔开始，这里，深啊！现在很紧张。这个点火器吗？在，怎么用啊？ 急救箱，OK， 用了，这个我还是要木头。等一下，卡尔不要晕，不要看。不好意思，头。看一下，卡尔，我操，这。 紧张。 没有拿到木头啊！我怎么生火？操！那我再出去一次啊。
Carl couldn't give up. Surely something in there could be useful.
OK， 卡尔拿到了，卡尔生活啊！哦，卡尔跟我变正常了。冰冷之谜。车祸。抓到三宝的箱子，三宝车祸1/2。这里哦，这有很多东西要解释。为了我需要照相吗？应该是不需要。我精神不太好。消耗上述，这钥匙，背包，好吧。
Such heart-wrenching Nordic poetry that was. But Carl didn't care much about flowery language.
OK， 该死三宝。地图看一下，我现在在哪？在木屋啊！我早点好远啊！但是也没办法啊。野外生活。收集一点资源。哎，干嘛骗我？他妈超空的，我还被冷死了，没到。这就这样，有别的东西。哇，那门怎么关的，大哥？赶快，回个暖，回个理智。
Even better than he had hoped. Carl Faubert had succeeded once more, and was now on his way to new adventures.
你逃奔去啊，靠腰啊！你他妈很湿的冒险，跑啊！休息，还是没有关那个啊。
Spread out on a few acres of untouched forest, bellowing caribou, everlasting snow, and undefiled lakes. The Manistan region was no tourist hub. It was said to have been populated for millennia by Cree people, and ever since the industrial era, by the metal mining industry. Carl was dying to stretch his legs, but he had to stay focused on the task at hand. The truck was running on fumes. Good thing that the general store was close by. Wouldn't surrender their divine nectar so easily. In all likelihood, they had to be switched on from inside the store. A milkman had to drive by every week to fill the bottles. The fresh milk indicated a recent visit. A milkman had to drive by every week to fill the bottles. The fresh milk indicated a recent visit.
他们都会自动关。Pending day. Okay.
Something fell to the bottom of the box.
细节做很好，我觉得。What the fuck?
Carl had no trouble recognizing his employer. He had been killed. There was no need to be a detective to figure that out. But only a detective could have noticed that the killer had to have been very close, that the fatal blow had been given before the victim even realized.
补丁鸟上相，绑吊起来。我的客户死了，真是倒霉。Okay.
Carl felt a chill down his spine and had a terrifying realization. If Hamilton was dead, then who was going to pay him?
真的，先看他身上有没有钱。OK。看一下，我这边有很多钱可以拿，应该。普丁连挡路，普丁。哦，干你奇怪！
An explosion suddenly occurred outside.
操！吓到我了！先偷东西，趁着还没来，多偷一点。这干嘛？手电筒。手电筒是4。
The snowstorm pummeled everything in its path. Carl was not surprised when he heard no tone.
Okay.
Carl knew that Gilles Lachance was in charge of the general store. That made him one of Hamilton's employees. A very angry employee, as Carl could plainly see.
聪明人。打开。OK。可以要不要赞？OK， 现在补不了了。雪莉酒，这是干嘛用的？这边有车库钥匙。
According to that log, it seemed like the whole village owed some money to the general store. Carl was far more interested in the bunch of nearby addresses he had just gotten his hands on, though.做一下升级 ，OK， 车祸，忧郁患者，对，车祸目前是算解决了，我不确定。冰冷之谜。谋杀案。 特勤局弟子。OK， 目前就这样。有香烟呢，这是这样 OK， 应该不是什么线索之类的吧？ 不用你说，我也看得出来。我去另外一边看一下，好像也是同样的话，是不是 ？OK。这是猫饲料。 免费的，最喜欢免费的东西。这是信箱。有个秘书在这就好了。收银机打开方式：输入价格，至少2位数，按下销售键，转动把手2次。如果没有，就敲打。 繁荣发快到了。
传单。去收银机那边看一下。输入。我忘记了，我看一下。 价格，按下销售键。OK。整栋把手2只上下。 哦，哦 ，OK 啊，给我money，没关系。切断电源。我来看看哈。
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time. The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time. The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
What the? 哦，操塞，妈的，别闹了！月。
Carl was no electrician, but he could identify a wiring problem when he saw one. Hate was in the air. Seems like some villagers barely tolerated each other.清洁用品区。金剑，一个剑，金钱。The crowbar was stuck under the lift. Notwithstanding Carl's imposing stature, car lifting wasn't part of his skill set yet. Staring intently at the controls won't be enough to make that lift budge. The poor thing was out of power.
Okay, got it.
Carl was used to strange phenomena, but a chunk of ice like this, as if an iceberg came out of the ground, that was a first. Prince? Carl found a surprise at every turn. Was the camera faulty, or was there a possible lead?
哇，月月相机有特殊功能。卡尔的相机有特殊功能。OK。哎，我等，我看进来的时候好恐怖，你看。
The note explained that the garage and the store couldn't be supplied with electricity at the same time.
Okay. 一个坏掉的钟。吵死！
Amateur hunters showing some pride at having killed a nice pelted beast. With men like this roaming the area, wolves would become extinct within 10 years, Carl thought. A nice picture of the Magasin Lachance store, seemingly taken the day it was first opened. It feels frozen in time, from an era long forgotten.
I don't know. What the?
Jumping from that height was akin to tempting death. Perhaps that man on the snowmobile had seen enough of this world already.
Oh, 早一点是邮局，这么酷。 看错了，等一下有电。
Carl was making progress, but the lift probably needed some more juice to work properly.
Yeah, I know.
The crowbar was stuck under the lift. Notwithstanding Carl's imposing stature, car lifting wasn't part of his skill set yet. Carl was making progress, but the lift probably needed some more juice to work properly.
加点油啊！所以我要去拿油啊，麻烦一点。好，来了，卡尔最认命了，先加点油。
Carl knew straight away where to find the infuriated Gilles Lachance. Any good investigation would have to start there.
油罐。神奇茅厕。不应该走哪里？先不要去好了。先躲个风。脚印，真的有另外一个脚。是不是相机有什么特殊功能之类的？我看一下。酷！好，现在就要找一个油桶，哪里有油桶？这都没油桶。油罐，找一下有没有油桶。
Carl was making progress, but the lift probably needed some more juice to work properly.我跟着月月走。 Carl felt that the store and its surroundings still held their secrets, and he didn't like to miss out.
这样拍。跟着月月走。
Carl wondered what the hell could that thing be. It looked like a man fossilized in ice.
不能靠近就是哇！看你那个磁场啊！这不可能是狼干的。哦，干掉，干掉！等一下，等一下，是我是在吓自己吗？不是吧？哦，看见这个，哦，我看不行，这心脏超出负荷了，我的妈！ 去什么？有点，我自己都有点害怕，天哪 ！OK， 不用怕，我零的相机，哎。 怕不怕？啊！傻笑啊！哎呦，看见不要出现妈鬼子，这是！看，我说不能这边看人的，天哪！拍一下的话，我看起来，你他妈你是 Standman 是不是？
Carl wondered how long he would have to endure this skin-stinging cold. The air was freezing, right down to the bone. 妻子被冻结。妈的，穿紧紧的，他是整个人被冻在那里，还神票。这个也是一样。 不要闹！不要闹！不要闹！有什么好拿的？
神经了，靠！
Looks like the holes in that puzzle are there to stay.
点破，爽！哦，不要闹，看。
The pot was cold, and the stew inside wasn't cooked. It's likely that poor Giselle was slow cooking it before she got snapped. What a waste.
快走！吃的，香烟。 不要看到还好。
The otherworldly ice had struck again. The
超
woman's hopes and dreams were frozen in eternity.
我看你，这傻小，等一下，我看那边跑。 我不想一个人玩这里，我不想要。看得起来。
Something was hidden under the stairs.
OK。我还是不是想知道后面发生什么事。
The man grabbed his rifle. Carl felt a sense of dread in him.
至少我知道你不是敌人。所以每个兵人都会有一些，少这边播一些草听听。来摸茶。
Perhaps their spousal relationship had been cooling down lately.
阿兵爸爸打下。OK。就这样。
It seemed like secrecy was commonplace in this house.
那藏一些猛男照片。
Carl felt the cold slowly dissipate and was brought back to reality. Giselle was now only ice, and all that was left of her voice was a diary. She confided in this diary, amongst other things, the tragic story of a young woman, a victim. Was this what she was hiding?
9月，母亲在我与邪恶师出狱的时候跟我说，我从来没有。 我没有从许多灯泡中挑选最明亮一盏，这是我从多年中我终于理解他的话。永远不要怀疑母亲的智慧。OK， 其实我不是很想看这里啊，我就觉得，OK。 保险箱，他父亲所想。哦，烦了，这一定是又是什么密码？但是我现在好懒得看。还好没有很多。看一下。 看了那么久，但是我还是觉得我觉得我还是白看。sorry， 留下会不会呢？不会，终于。
That window had seemingly been left open for a while, Carl thought. Given the punishing weather, it couldn't have been intentional. Ah, moving. What a pleasant activity. Of course, you'll find the record player only to find the records weeks later in some random box. Carl had seen that kind of safe before. With its double-layered security system blending letters and numbers, its code couldn't be broken by the common burglar.
好，很好。我现在他妈的。
The general store, along with several more infrastructures in the area, had been acquired by wealthy industrialist William J. Hamilton. Perhaps the village should be rechristened Hamiltown.
惨了，快累死我！
Many boxes scattered about. Carl didn't need to summon his detective training to quickly figure that the Lachauses had just moved in.
B。 OK 啊，随便来试试看。可以 Q B 嘛，对不对？
What a mess. Clearly, there was some major revamping work underway here. The place looked barely habitable. Beautiful portrait of Gilles and Giselle, bound together by the chains of conventional love.
相见无知，我好开心。哦 ，sorry。
Many boxes scattered about. Carl didn't need to summon his detective training to quickly figure that the Lachauses had just moved in. A nice white coating would restore the room to its charm of olden days. Many boxes scattered about. Carl didn't need to summon his detective training to quickly figure that the Lachauses had just moved in.
Okay. Okay. 现在目前的就是宝箱。 OK， 那今天就先到这好了，都保存了。